Alrighty, good morning everybody. Happy Friday. It is August 12th, 2022, and because of some technical issues getting my microphone working here, we're starting pretty late, so I'm going to jump right into things. We'll get into our Friday forecast here in just a few minutes. What I want to do first, though, is go back and just review yesterday for you guys, because we had some really great things occur. So let's go back to that, and we'll quickly go through this review and get into this morning's data. So coming into the open yesterday, I believe we had some very strong market internals. In fact, tick opened up at extremes. I believe the advanced decline was up about 1800 or something like that. So everything was looking really strong. And as the open was like right here, as the market pulled back to make this double bottom here at 33, I got my first bullish signal, and I informed the room that there was a possibility that we could be breaking out to the upside. Whoops. So let's go back here. And so I warned everybody. There was also a counter signal forming off of our eye level here, but everything was lining up off of this low. This signal here was much weaker and didn't have the same number of bullish signals as the double bottom from back here. And sure enough, they could not break through the 200 moving average on 3 tests. So you had 3 opportunities to get long as we started, well, really 2 opportunities once we broke out through 38, our minor eye level. And then from there, we got a beautiful rip up. And as we started getting to 56.5, for anyone who was here in the trading room, remember, as we started pushing to these higher highs, we got more and more data from our market internals telling us that there was something going on. There was a discrepancy between what price was doing and what the strength in the overall market was doing. And so as we pushed into this level, I warned everybody that we could probably get a major failure either from 56.5 or from 62.75. These were the 2 distinct levels that made sense. Sure enough, they popped through. They did push 4 points through 56.5, pull back, hold the 200, which is where I tried to see if we would come up and bounce right into 62.75 for the ultimate failure. It only went 6-7 points or something like that, and then turned, and then the sell-off started to happen. So this was all in the cards. I believe, Don, you were here. Donnie was here. Don was here. A few people. And sure enough, we came back up. We held 56.5 and then went ahead and started pushing lower. There were another number of beautiful trades you could have tried. As things failed, as we expected, you could have tried the back end of the 200 multiple times and basically with less than 2 points of risk captured a bunch of beautiful little scalps or a nice run. And then look what happened here at the right around lunchtime. The market came to our holy orange power level. Again, this level right here, probably one of the most powerful levels I've ever seen. We came down, we held it 2 times within just a few ticks, and then got this nice, about 15, 16, 17 point bounce off that level. So beautiful little reaction, and then it just continued to sell off. You could have sold the VWAP, and then at the end of the day, the low of the day was our next major eye level, 42.03. So we pushed to 56.5, got a little peek through it, and failed, and then the low of the day was our minor eye level 40 or major eye level 42.03, which we tested basically to the tick, and then bounced just in front of it to end the day. And then at the end of the day here, they tried to bring it up, and in the overnight session, this is where we are here this morning, the market has attempted to now come back up and retrace that sell-off from yesterday. And we are sitting right here, right around 61.8 retracement of that sell-off there. So the 61.8 happens to be just about our minor eye level, like the confluence there. And that's where we find ourselves this morning. So let's jump up and get through this because the open is just about 8 minutes away here. So let's jump up to the daily. And I want to talk about all this conflicting information we keep getting off of the highs here on our daily. It's been a tight little situation. And remember yesterday we said if the RVI holds the way it looks right now, we would have another bearish signal off of the high of the day. And sure enough, that's actually what happened here. So the expectation would be for a pullback. We did pull back from the high of yesterday about 50 points or so. And that might be all that happens, as when you're in a bullish push, as they push, you're going to get those little bearish signals that lead to minor pullbacks and then continuation higher. So you can't discount a possibility that they're just going to continue with the bullish momentum and go ahead and continue ripping, but we do have that daily signal once again. And again, if you look at these daily signals, most of the time they line up right at the point that we get some really strong pushes in the market. So just want to be aware of it. We'll see how the participants look here when the market opens. 4-hour does not give us confluence with the daily. So already I'm seeing some conflicting information. A lot of times what we do get is the daily, we get the 4-hour, we get the hourly, all giving us a signal, and that's usually the alignment that we like to see for those larger pushes. Not just a daily signal, but we have some bolstering on the 2 time frames below it, and then even the time frame above it, which we do technically have an argument for. So not a huge alignment this morning for the bearish signal off the high, but it is there. So no 4-hour signal. In fact, what we got on the pullback was a nice bullish 4-hour signal on these 2 lows, the low of yesterday and basically the low of the overnight session. So we'll see now who's going to win out. Are the bulls going to hold this? Oh, wrong button there. Are the bulls going to hold this and start ripping up higher now and breaking through yesterday's high? Or are the bears going to regain strength here, hold the 61.8 and come lower, or maybe even come back up to test that high, maybe even peek through it and then fail lower? So these are some scenarios we want to be aware of coming into the open. And what I'd like to do is now talk about all the different levels that we want to be aware of coming into the open. So let's take a look here. Again, on the hourly, we don't, I take that back. On the hourly, we did get a bearish signal. So a lot of kind of back and forth, which tells me we're probably coming back up to test this high. Just something about the, we don't have that alignment from that high. We have a few different time frames telling us that, but we don't get that nice clean sweep. So that's kind of giving me a clue that we're coming back up to test that high, or just go ahead. Well, 3 things: either come back to test the high and fail, come back to push through it by a few points and fail, or just continue to go higher. And then maybe once we get up to one of these resistance levels up above us, we'll get that huge confluence and then the major failure. So right now I do think there's a good argument that we could come back and retest this high and maybe even break out through it. Of course, anything's possible, and that's why we're going to look at the levels that we have this morning, because all we really can do is trade between all these areas of expected support and resistance. So this morning, inside of all of the chop here, or at least inside of yesterday's price range, looking basically from the close of yesterday at 18.5 up to about our minor eye level at 38 here, this whole little area is a little bit messy. So we've got a whole bunch of levels every few points, and so what I would say is this little pocket here, I'd rather not rely on so many different levels being in such a tight spot. But if we do break lower and we can come down to the low of yesterday, this is an area I'm interested in. We've got the low of yesterday, we've got a major swing high, we've got the 38% retracement of this push up from basically the low of 2 days ago and 3 days ago all the way up to the high of yesterday. So a lot of stuff lining up right there. It also is the low of yesterday, which is a critical level. So that little pocket, 03 to about 04, 05, makes a lot of sense as a potential support level. So if they do pull back, they can get through the OPL, the close of yesterday. This retracement level probably no longer relevant on the pullback, but get through that, get through the minor level. That's really my first level I would expect to hold. If it continues to break lower, you cannot ignore all the major and minor eye levels that you all should be aware of, and all of the swing highs that we've already put on the chart. Nothing has changed from that perspective, but I do, this morning, just like the 38% retracement lines up at a very critical part in the chart, our 50% is also sitting here right off this major swing that really has not been tested. We see this happen all the time where the market makes a major high, a major failure, it pushes lower, breaks out above that high, and then when it comes back, uses it as a beautiful clean support. Well, it is a little bit lower there, right there. So today what actually lines up is we have that major swing, and then we have 50% retracement of this whole leg up sitting right here, just about 41.86 to 88. So that's that next pocket that to me really lights my fire. And then a little bit deeper, the 61.8 is right there at 69.25. And that doesn't necessarily line up with anything else, but we know how strong the fib levels work. So if they do end up getting down there, potential support from there. Now everything else on the chart as far as what's below us here are all levels we've been talking about, so I don't really need to mention much. Each major and minor eye level can work a charm, just like yesterday. The major eye level at 03 was the low of the day that we got a major bounce from. And then our major eye level up here, although it wasn't super clean, ended up holding for the sell-off of the day. So all these levels down below could very well act as a strong support. There's two other pockets that I want to mention outside of this area from 86 to 88 and 03 to 05. We have this pocket here from about 41.53 to 55 down here, and then this pocket right around 41, let's say 28.5 to 30.5. So a 2-point pocket here, 2-point pocket here. Everything else are levels we've been talking about. So that's what we have below us here if the bears do stay in control. Now the market just opened. I was trying to go as quick as possible here. But let's look at what's up above here. If we come back up, 56.5 could hold to the tick. Just because we peeked through it a little bit and failed doesn't mean they're not going to come right back to it and fail again. So be aware of 56.5, be aware of the high of yesterday. And then there's this level here, 62.75, which you never know, very well could end up becoming the next resistance spot. So let's go ahead and throw that across so that if we push up there today, we are reminded that there is a structure right there at 62.75 that could hold. If they end up busting through all this stuff, getting up above the high of yesterday, 42.85, 43.06, 43.24 half, 43.48 quarter, and then our major retracement level up here, the 61.8 retracement of the sell-off from the all-time high all the way down to the low of the year right here around 43.58 to 59. Everything else above here is all again eye levels that we have already established. So I'm going really quick here, talking very fast because I want it to be done by the open, and the open has already started. So that's basically it for this morning. That's our Friday forecast. Not as quite a beautiful alignment this morning as some mornings, but we have our levels and we're ready to get things going. So have a great weekend to those watching out on YouTube, and we'll see you on Monday.